I'm honored to be here. One of the themes in today's conference is the following. Consumers have adopted a digital-first lifestyle, and brand builders lag their customers in doing the same. True enough. But the fact is that even the most digital-savvy consumers continue to buy their soap, deodorant, toothpaste, automotive retail, and a huge range of other products the old-fashioned way, by driving to Walmart or Pep Boys or CVS and waiting in line at the counter. In fact, only about 8% of retail sales are online. But even if consumers aren't yet buying online at the scale of offline, their lives are digital and online. And that 8% is, of course, increasing, and any brand whose marketers don't maximize that potential is at risk. The problem for marketers is figuring out which advertising works. Everybody knows how to value a click-through when looking at a direct sale. But today, brand marketers have to purchase digital media at the type of scale done on television and print. The challenge is that there's so much information out there, a flood of words, of learning, of facts, of propaganda, and yes, some wisdom. Our digital lives force brand advertisers to work harder. Marketers have to go beyond the old standards. It's not enough to know how many people might see your ads. You need to know how many people actually paid attention to your ads. Attention is the new currency for brand advertising. We've been working hard to understand and improve brand intelligence and analytics and to make brand advertising more effective online. Look, all of us are bombarded with information and options. The internet has expanded more than exponentially over the last 20 years. From the launch of the first site to more than 500 million today, with 300 million in the last year. And I guess 50 million of those on WordPress. This massive increase in information ironically results in decreased attention. Even in simple cases, capturing someone's attention can be difficult. Let's take a look at something you may have seen before, which I think illustrates the point. It's called the awareness test.
This is an awareness test. How many passes does the team in white make?
Go!
The answer is 13. But did you see the moonwalking bear?
It's funny, right? The first time I saw that, I think I replayed it 5 times because I was like, there's no way that bear was in the first screen. They definitely added that after the fact, and so I went back like 5 times to see it. Anyways, with all the information, we miss, frankly, a lot of dancing bears. So how can we be sure that people are going to notice our ads? Nielsen reports that the average American is exposed to 1,600 ads a day, right? 1,600. I counted them walking around Cincinnati. It's basically ads everywhere. You don't think about it that way, but they are. So how do we capture and measure someone's attention, right? The attention is ultimately the value. And in the internet, specifically, this is particularly hard. So how do we do it? Well, one way historically has been using clicks, right? What was the click-through on that campaign? The problem with clicks, besides a number of things that I'll talk about, is that they're not a really good metric for brands because, first off, they don't correlate to offline sales. In other words, more people clicking on an ad for Gillette or Olay or whatever is not the way you're going to optimize getting more sales, basically. That's the number one problem. The second thing is basically nobody clicks on ads. I know I don't click on ads. I know my brother and partner Noah doesn't click on ads. And statistics basically say that very few people actually click on ads. But just to be sure, we sent a camera crew out to New York City to see who clicks.
Hey, we're here with Moat in Bryant Park to see if people click on online ads. You ever click on online ads?
No.
Oh, no, not exactly.
Rarely.
Well, I only do it by accident.
I don't like it.
Not really.
Yes. As a matter of fact. But we're not from here, though.
So I usually look at them like, oh, that's a good one. But I don't look at them like, I'm going to click on that.
So you do notice them.
Yeah.
So, if I could have the next slide. There's 10,000 dots on this screen. That's what sorry, you can go to the next one. That's what 3 in 10,000 looks like, right? Clicks don't matter. Great brands and other mediums don't need direct response measures. We don't count clicks during the Super Bowl. And no one's counting clicks on magazine ads. Brand advertising works in magazines, on billboards, and on TV without irrelevant measurements like clicks. On TV, you like that one? On TV, it's straightforward, right? On TV, if I were to project a commercial right here when we all watched Coke and Amex, the incredible commercials from both of those guys, we all consumed it in roughly the same way. But on the internet, it's really not that easy. If I said that I targeted an ad to every single person in this room today, whether you saw it or paid attention to it would be very dependent on what site you're on, what the ad looked like, et cetera. On the internet, it could be a video, it could be a static image, it could be on the side of the page, it could be at the bottom of the page, it could be little, big, it could expand to take over the whole page, right? So the viewing experience and how we consume not only the content but the ads that are around us really actually matters on the internet. It would be like, the equivalent would be like playing 9 TV commercials on a split screen while you're actually watching a TV show at the same time. And then on the internet, add to that you're on your phone, you're making a phone call, you're texting, et cetera. And we're expecting the consumer to basically pay attention to those ads. And more importantly, we're not measuring whether they do or not. Right? This fragmented presentation and context means measuring attention is not straightforward online. But we can succeed in measuring attention. So where do we start? We can start with attributes like viewability and interactivity. Viewability means knowing the consumer had an opportunity to see the ad. It means it was in front of them. If I were to ask you to buy a billboard in Times Square, you might ask how many people normally walk by it. And if you can measure it, you might ask how long people typically look up at it and how long is it in front of each person. You can't do that in Times Square, but on the web, you can do that. On the web, we can measure both whether the ad was viewable and for how long. We call this percent viewable and in-view time. The internet allows us to interact with brands in ways no one dreamed possible. Consumers can explore videos, look at photos, tweet, or share their experiences on Facebook, all from within an ad. But how do we measure interactivity in a thoughtful way that is consistent, regardless of the type of ad it is or what site it's on? All of the stuff that we saw today, phenomenal applications of advertising like Flipboard and live ads from Yahoo. But how do we measure that consistently across the entire internet? How do we know, frankly, that someone's paying attention to each one, and how do we compare and contrast what happened? So we looked at it somewhat simplistically and said, well, you should have an interaction, which means that someone purposely did something with an ad. And secondly, how long did they do it for? The idea is a consistent metric that we can apply across any ad on any site, mobile, tablets, PCs, et cetera. So P&G is actually doing some of this work already. In partnership with MediaVest and Dynamic Logic, my company set out to measure how consumers paid attention to a set of ads for the detergent Tide, which you guys know well. I want to show you a bit of that right now. So if you look at this, this was actually the original ad that ran. And here's what happens when you add a heat map visualization. This is basically a collection of every user who interacted with this ad. And what you notice is that different parts of the ad get different attention, different amounts of attention. Now we add in, next slide please, our focus graph. This tells us exactly at what precise moment the ad got the most attention, right? So we can then take that information, that massive amount of data, and synthesize it into something simple. What features were people paying attention to? This is actual consumer behavior. So in this case, the baby stood out the bottle of Tide stood out, the button stood out, and the My Tide logo stood out the most. So let me wrap up by saying that the key to taking advantage of our new fragmented digital economy is understanding it. Measuring attention, not clicks and impressions, is the answer to how you fight fragmentation. It's the answer to how you understand value across different websites and different mediums. And it's the first step in how you improve the process of building brands online. Attention is the new currency. And with that, I thank you for your undivided attention.